open packs, pick your team, and crush the competition. This is next level fantasy football. It's free to play. There's £125,000 up for grabs. Download the app today at ultimatefan.com.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Fan Fix, brought to you by Ultimate Fan in association with Castor. I'm Tom Pearce and I'm joined by Ultimate Fan England ambassador Rory Jennings. Rory, how are we?
Tom, I can barely control I don't know what we're supposed to do until the game kicks off. I can't think about anything else. All I'm doing is thinking about how England are going to line up against the Danes, why England are going to win. Are we going to get it right? Do we have a potential disaster on our hands? It's just constantly going round and round in my mind. I can't really focus on anything but the football.
Yeah, I mean, the nerves are all kicking in for me already. Now we've started talking about it already. You know, the nerves kicking in. The last time we spoke was just before the Germany game. I mean, just how good was it to beat them in a major tournament?
I mean, beating Germany in the way that we did, I think it's huge. I think that we've often, when I say we, I think as a country, people have given Gareth Southgate quite a lot of stick, which is often fair enough. But I think we also have to hold our hands up and acknowledge when he gets it right. And that game against Germany was a masterclass. It was fantastic from start to finish. He got it so right. He used and deployed our biggest strength at the right time. Harry Kane on the score sheet again, and I don't think we can overstate the significance of beating Germany at Wembley in a knockout game at the Euros. You know, it's historic. It was a historic day. People will remember that, knocking Germany out of a tournament, something that hasn't happened since 1966. You know, we haven't won a knockout game against significant opposition ever. That changed that day, and we are now on course to make more history and go one better than we did in Russia and get to the final of a major tournament.
Yeah, I mean, he got it spot on, didn't he, Southgate, with 5 at the back and then bringing Grealish on at the right time. Yeah, he sort of silenced a lot of critics, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think he bought himself a lot of respect that day, and earned himself a lot of respect that day, because even people that weren't particularly inspired with the starting lineup, the clamour for Jack Grealish to start. If you deployed Jack Grealish in the way that he did, bringing him on, it's using him perfectly. Simply playing well as a substitute doesn't mean you have to start. I think I've come under fire for this quite a lot, because I'm saying that Jack Grealish doesn't need to start. Whether his performances deserve a start is a different question. But can you get a lot out of Jack Grealish? Can you get Jack Grealish to contribute massively to the result by having moments at select times? You play Saka batters the defence. Whether it's Saka, Sancho, it doesn't matter who it is. Batter the defence for 70 minutes, and then you deploy Jack Grealish. It feels like a very strong tactic to me. And if you were an opposition player, your legs are a bit knackered, and all of a sudden they're bringing on a player who carries the ball better than, nobody better than him can carry the ball. The way that he drives forward, the way that he wins free kicks, creates goals, has a good eye for a goal as well. It must be very demoralising as a defence. And I think Southgate is getting it right, spot on every time. Combine him with Steve Holland, and we are in very, very good hands. And look, this game against Denmark, there's no reason England don't win that. And then we're in a final, Tom. I mean, then I really won't be able to cope.
Yeah. I mean, you just spoke there, sort of Saka, he played well in the first half. Grealish come on and played well. Jadon Sancho played well against Ukraine. How important is it to have sort of this strength and depth in attacking positions?
It's a luxury. It's a luxury, and we are blessed to have such gifted players in virtually every position. We are a squad that is pretty much perfect in every position. We have good cover in virtually every position. You could perhaps say maybe the goalkeeper, we don't quite have the depth there. I would say the drop off from Kane to Calvert-Lewin is fairly significant, and I would say that the drop off from Maguire to Mings is fairly significant. But apart from that, I think it's all fairly interchangeable. whether it's Reece James or Kyle Walker, whether it's Ben Chilwell or Luke Shaw, whether it's Jordan Henderson or Calvin Phillips, whether it's Raheem Sterling or Jack Grealish. I think that the squad is so gifted, and Southgate is balancing it brilliantly, because everything has a positive and a negative. And you could end up in a situation where you've got a problem for Southgate, but he's managing it perfectly. The squad seem harmonious. I saw a beautiful image of Jack Grealish and Gareth Southgate embracing after the victory the other day. And I think that everything is going to plan. I'm so enthralled and so proud of this England team. It's just magnificent.
Yeah, I think Southgate was probably telling Grealish, he's got a part to play in hopefully the next couple of games.
Well, he already has played a part, though, Tom. This is the thing. He already is playing a part. People are saying he needs to start, and I don't think it's true. I concede. I'm in the minority. When I've put this out, when I've done a video on my own channel about this, people think he has to start. The only way that you can get the best out of Grealish is if he starts. I personally don't think that's true. But it's one for people to comment on this video and let us know where they stand on it, because I think that you can get significant performances out of Grealish, because significant moments out of him, using him sparingly. Other people think he deserves a start and must start the next game, so we'll see how that one progresses.
I mean, it's a pretty nice sort of headache to have, isn't it? A nice problem to have. But talk about that Ukraine game. It was as comfortable as a quarter-final that you're going to see, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think we can read too much into that. Look, I think the Germany game is significant, and I will take that, and I will talk about the Germany game. The fact that it's historic, the fact that we beat Joachim Löw's side, the fact that they have an abundance of talented players. People say it's not a strong Germany team. It's nonsense. They're a brilliant team. Ukraine, though, if I'm going to celebrate the Germany victory, I've got to be honest about the Ukraine game. Ukraine shouldn't have even been there. They were the lowest qualifiers. They finished third in the group. They weren't the only team they beat in the group with North Macedonia. They lost both games, aside from the North Macedonia game. No, they're not a good team. Not one player from the Ukraine team gets in the England squad. There isn't one player that gets anywhere near the squad. So England did what they should do in that circumstance and win 4-0. It's perfect.
Yeah, you just got to beat what's in front of you, haven't you? And Harry Kane, 3 goals in his last 2 games. How important is he sort of for England's chances of progressing, winning the whole thing?
Vital. Look, I think he's on for a golden boot. I genuinely think he's on for a golden boot. But Harry Kane finding form. Look, England were doing really well when Harry Kane wasn't playing particularly well. Harry Kane has now found form. Our best player has now found form. That is going to strike fear into the hearts of everyone who doesn't support England. England's best player has now found form at the crucial time. He was deprived a hat-trick the other day. What a goal that would have been. A brilliant save from the Ukrainian keeper. But had that gone in, you then got a hat-trick. Harry Kane's confidence sky high. Scored against Germany, 2 in Rome against Ukraine. I bet he is relishing the game at Wembley against the Danes. I expect to see him on the score sheet. I think he is England's best player. And the fact that he is now finding form, it just, for me, is set up for England to win this tournament now. I think expectations change. And when we first spoke, Tom, I think we would have been happy with the semi-final performance. I'm proud of that. 2 semi-finals in 2 tournaments consecutively. Lot to be proud about. But expectations change. And my expectations are now that England win this tournament. Harry Kane leading us to glory.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you could see the difference in confidence, from that chance against Germany just before the first half, where he could have taken it on first time, but he cuts inside, and then that volley that he almost smashed in against Ukraine. If he already scored in previous games, he takes that Germany chance on first time. But so it is amazing to sort of see him.
And Harry Kane coming of age. Do you know what I think we should do, which I think reveals how good this England team are? If you and I pretend now, right, we do a bit of role play and we pretend that we're 2 Italian lads sitting in a piazza in Turin, having an espresso, discussing the tournament. Italy are about to play Spain. They feel fairly confident going into that one. They're then playing England at Wembley in a final. they'll be gutted. They're desperate. Everyone's desperate to play Denmark. Gosh, we really hope that if Denmark can do it, because they know that England scored 8, conceded none. Pickford on course for the Golden Gloves, making history. Set a new record. Harry Kane on course for the Golden Boot. Raheem Sterling on course for Player of the Tournament. No one wants to play England. And if you and I were having that conversation in Italian with a bias toward Italy, we would be saying, I'm worried about England.
Yeah.
And that is the biggest compliment that you can pay this England team.
Yeah, you just said about Jordan Pickford, 5 clean sheets now. There was a bit of sort of worry going into the tournament about England's, mainly the sort of centre half options. They've sort of silenced those critics, haven't they?
Yeah, it was the Achilles heel of the England team, wasn't it? The back line and Pickford. I think a lot of people were sceptical about Pickford. I mean, let's not forget, mate, Ancelotti dropped him midway through the season from a fairly average Everton team. So it hasn't always been smooth sailing for that England back line. But this is another point. We give credit to the players. Pickford deserves a lot of credit, as do Harry Maguire, John Stones, Kieran Trippier, whoever's played back line, right? They all deserve a lot of credit. But this is one, I think, for Steve Holland and Gareth Southgate to bathe in the glory of this. The way that back line is playing, been so stingy at the back. The manager deserves a lot of credit here.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's time to look forward now. Tuesday night, Denmark, Wembley, 60,000 fans. Going to be some night, isn't it?
Mate, it's going to be outrageous. You know, after that Germany game at Wembley, I have watched every single video that any fan has filmed that day. It was one of those things. I just couldn't get enough. I was on Instagram. I was like going on. I don't check, I follow people, but I don't check trending pages and all that. I was going in the search bar and going England hashtag. Like I wanted to find as much as I could. And it was mayhem in there. Have you seen them doing Sweet Caroline after the final whistle?
Yeah. I mean,
so good.
I think it was Harry Kane interview, and he's literally. I don't think he's listening to what the interview is saying. He's just watching the England fans singing Sweet Caroline. It's
amazing. It's amazing. And mate,
yeah, so good.
Like one of the happiest visions of this tournament for me has been England fans, middleweight, topless, middle-aged, topless, overweight men, roly-polying on tarpaulin. Like that's what football's about for me. Those moments, those like moments of euphoria. And Wembley, it's going to be rocking. Wembley is a stadium that I've often been fairly cynical about. Don't like it. I think the acoustics are all wrong and it's hard to make a racket in there. But, Wednesday night's going to be an exception. Wednesday night, it is going to be rocking. 5,000 Danish fans, I believe. Yeah. So they should create a bit of noise themselves, which, away fans are always very conducive to good atmosphere. So hopefully they're in there making their presence felt. But yeah, I think Wembley is going to be like no other. Like I know we had an all-German Champions League final, but I expect the 60,000 England fans to drown out even noise comparable to that one.
Yeah. No one sort of expected Denmark to reach this stage after what happened to Eriksen, did they? Are you wary of any of their players?
Yeah, man. I'm very aware. I think there is such a thing. You know how something can be, how there is such a concept of like reassuringly expensive. I think there is such a concept of like being too worried or too respectful. And I don't want to go down that path. But to give them their due, they're brilliant. I think their manager's great. Do you see the way that manager transformed the game against Wales after 10 minutes? Yeah. Denmark were being battered. Gareth Bale's getting in behind. One little tactical adjustment. Andreas Christensen pushes on. Gareth Bale doesn't touch the ball for 80 minutes. Very well played from the manager. Yeah. And when you look at their team, whether it's Damsgaard, whether it's at Joachim Mæhle, I've probably butchered his name, but he looks like a brilliant fullback. Kasper Dolberg's ruthless up front. Seems just a really good player. Højbjerg in the middle. But Tom, let's have it right. If we did a combined 11, England, Denmark, you could wrongly, I think, make a case for Kasper Schmeichel. But Pickford hasn't conceded a goal all tournament, so you're not changing him for anyone. I don't care. But Kasper Schmeichel overall is probably a better keeper than Pickford. But that's it. Nobody gets near the England team. None of them. So with that logic alone, combine that with the fact that we're at Wembley. I can't see a world in which we don't win it. The only thing I'm slightly scared of is their emotional attachment to this tournament. Win it for Christian scares me, but I still think we'll be too strong.
Yeah. Score predictions?
3-0 England.
3-0. Ooh. Confident then. Confident.
3-0. I can't see a world where it doesn't go our way, mate. What about you?
Yeah. I'm going to go 2-0. I was a bit sort of pessimistic about the Germany game. I just went for a 1-0 win, but yeah, I think 2-0. Get an early goal like we did the other night, and then go another later on.
Love it.
I mean, last time we spoke, we were going on about waxing lyrical about France, how good they are, how they're the team to beat. And a few hours later, they were knocked out. Who are the team to reach? Who are the team to beat for you now? So say we get to the final.
Italy. It's Italy and a worry. I think the Spain team are good. They obviously have some exceptional players, but I'm never going to be too fearful of a team who's pinning their goal scoring hopes on Alvaro Morata. I'm just not going to be scared of a team where that is the threat. Italy worry me. I think Mancini's a great manager. Vialli and the backroom staff there knows what he's doing, obviously. They've got a great blend of youth and experience. That back line, Chiellini, Bonucci, it's good. And then, Barella, Locatelli going forward. But I think that they are beatable. If you do player for player, we are better than them. Harry Kane is a better player than Ciro Immobile. That's a fact. But they are where I've been saying, no Dane gets in the England team. No Ukrainian gets in the England squad. That's not the case with Italy. I think it's fairly even, but I do believe that we are just stronger.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Either way, it's going to be a tough game, I think. Italy they've got that balance spot on now, haven't they? They're not.
I think. Well, look, I'm hoping that Spain. I think that the two things I'm hoping for in that game, I'm hoping that Spain win somehow. But even if they don't, I'm hoping it goes to extra time and penalties.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
as a draining effect.
Suit us down to the ground.
That's actually something to mention about Denmark. Denmark's last game was in Baku in the boiling heat. You see, Højbjerg was all over the place by the end of it.
Yeah,
that's going to take its toll. England went to Rome, Denmark went to Azerbaijan. That's different. It counts, though, doesn't it? It all counts.
Yeah. So group station 5 sort of starts tomorrow, I think. Yeah, for the Spain-Italy game. To talk about your team,
my team's brilliant. I'm all out attack. I am all out attack. Annoyingly, for some, I'm not annoyed by this because I have full faith in my midfielders and attackers. But I only pack one defender. But who cares when it's Luke Shaw? Like, Luke Shaw is my only defender. So fairly happy with that. My team at Italy, again, fairly happy with that. And then it's all about what happens in front of that. And it goes Thiago, Rodri, Harry Kane. That's elite.
Yeah. I mean, Luke Shaw, he was phenomenal the other day, wasn't he?
Well, that's why I only need one defender.
Yeah.
Everyone's calling him Shawberto Carlos and all that. Why do I need two defenders when I've got Shawberto there?
I mean, I packed Denmark as my team, and then Kasper Dolberg as my striker. So I'm hoping for a bad round this week. Hoping for points from them too. So
yeah, he's a good player, Dolberg. He's a very good player. I mean, it's a shame that he's playing England, because against anyone else, I think he'd score, but England don't concede goals, so he's very unlucky there.
Yeah, he's definitely one that would have to watch out for. Anyway, that's all for today's episode, Rory. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time.
It's an honour. Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the game on Wednesday, and we look forward to catching up with you soon.
Can't wait. Thank you for having me, Tom.